Welcome to the podcast, Guidance with Gab. Learn and unlearn all things wellness. Welcome back to another episode of Guidance with Gab. Learn and unlearn all things wellness. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to do whatever it is you want to do, even when you're scared. So this can be making a really big move, a giant change in your life, entering transformation that is super scary, but you know you have to do. Starting a project specifically is what we'll go into because it's a great example, and any other things that you know are necessary, but you're really scared to try. I want to start this off by saying the advice or the commentary is going to be coming from a girly who loves to dive headfirst. I remember hearing, I don't want to say it was a quote, but someone discussing how there's two types of people when it comes to trying something new, starting a project, anything of that sort. And they talked about how there's the one person who's going to, as if we're going into a pool, who's going to start in the shallow end. They're going to slowly acclimate to the deep end. They're going to get their footing, get adjusted to the temperature. They're going to do the research on the pool before they jump in. And then there's other people who are like, oh my God, I don't even know how deep the water is, but I know I'm going to go head first. And that is more of me. So I just want to make that clear when I'm talking about this, because I am going to try to gear it towards both types of people because they both exist and there are so many benefits to both people. But I just want to preface this by saying I am more of the fuck it, jump head first and see what happens type of person. And to kind of start this off, I want you to realize and notice that whatever came to your mind when I first opened up this episode is what you should kind of have throughout your head this entire episode. So if you're thinking about a certain project that you really want to jump into that's been on the back of your mind that you haven't really thought about, and then you heard me say it and you know you are like a little scared, which is more than okay, but that came to mind because that's obviously important and you can apply all of this to that certain situation. Because there is a reason behind all of these feelings we have. That random project that you want to start, that random calling for you to exit a situation, all of those start from somewhere within, and we shouldn't be ignoring that. So just remember that everything that you are feeling is very valid, and there is somewhere inside of you that is craving whatever this may be. For me, my project that I was a little bit nervous to start actually was Guidance with Gab, my entire Instagram. I was obviously also very nervous to start my podcast. If you listen back, which please don't because it's very embarrassing, the very beginning, I was so nervous. I did not know what I was doing and I truly did just dive head first and I just wanted to speak my mind. And for me, it kind of helped because if I don't make that first step, then I will keep putting it off. I am, again, not the type who's going to do a lot of research before jumping into something. I'm just going to go for it. And for me, if I do all the research, then maybe I'll like psych myself out of it. So for me, just trying to do it really helped. Just freaking finding an app and then getting one of these little microphones. I don't even think I had a microphone at that point. I think I was just speaking into the speaker of my phone. But that was really scary because obviously you're thinking about what are people going to think? Is this actually going to be good? Is it going to be worth my time? But there was a calling in there that is still very much there that I knew I had to value and listen to. Because where would I be right now if I didn't listen to that feeling? I wouldn't be as fulfilled maybe or satisfied. Doing all of this is my purpose. It is what I love to do, what I wake up excited to do. And it's just so important to not ignore that first primary feeling that you're having. So that's what that long-winded story was about. Listen to that inner calling and your inner voice because it's there for a reason. So getting into all of the fear aspects because those are very valid and very real. Just don't forget that you aren't going to be perfect when you first start. So if you're thinking about, I don't know, opening up a coffee shop, you're going to have very valid, realistic fears around it. But you're not going to be perfect in the beginning. And that's what you need to remember throughout the process. When you first start, again, like my podcast, how that was like all over the place and in shambles, you're going to be all over the place. You're learning something new, even if you prepare and do the research and cross all your T's, dot all your I's, you are still going to come across some things that stunt you, that you're like, oh my gosh, I did not foresee this. I didn't know, I don't know what to do in this situation. I don't know how to handle this. This wasn't on all the spreadsheets, and you need to improvise. But you need to just trust that you are going to be okay and you're going to handle it. But starting a project off with the fear and then coming across something like that, you need to almost schedule that in. You need to plan for the moments where you're going to be hit with something very unexpected and you're not going to be perfect at fixing it. You're not going to know how to figure it out. There's going to be a lot of curveballs when you enter into a new field. And that's just okay. There needs to be a lot of mental prep and acceptance before starting the project that I feel like are more important than the logistical steps. You need to be mentally prepared for all of these things. So the first thing I would say to be mentally prepared about is that you are not going to be perfect. Even if you are an expert in this field and now you're deciding to branch out and show it to the public, go on Instagram, start a page about the thing you've been practicing for 15 years. You're not going to be perfect at knowing how to convey it, learning all the little tricks and tips of Instagram, but that's okay. And the second thing is that you are going to be faced with unexpected chaos. There is going to be chaos, but you have to be okay with that. And you just need to accept this is a part of it. This is a core part of this ride of jumping into a new adventure. And when you do come across those moments of chaos and when you aren't perfect, the third thing you need to mentally prepare yourself for in a positive way is that self-courage and the confidence that, yeah, these shit is going to hit the fan, but I am trustworthy enough, I am capable enough to overcome all of it and to find a way. If you truly believe in your mission and your intention and your passion, you'll find a way. And that's just it. That's point blank, period. If you are so fully called to this, even if you have fear, you're going to make it work. You're going to find your way. And that's just it. So keep that in mind as well when you are trying to start something new. So never forget that you will find your way. Something else you need to get clear on before jumping into your project or even doing the research end of it is the intention behind it. And I only say this because some things aren't a hit and they don't pop off. I'm still here grinding at Guidance with Gab, and I'm not at the place where I thought I would be and with the success that I intended to have. But I still have my intention, which is I want to help people. I want to share the insight that I have. And I also like just forming this kind of community. So when you don't maybe have that external validation and the external quote unquote success, however you define success, you need to be able to come back to your intention. And if you have a pure, genuine intention, it will be very easy to keep going. But if your intention of starting your new project is to only have followers or only make money, then it's going to be easy to be deterred from it. It's easy to lose hope and motivation and drive to keep doing it. So before beginning, create that mental framework of, I know why I'm doing this, and I will keep that close to my heart throughout this entire journey, because it will be filled with ups and downs, but I will always have my core, my center, and my intention. I don't know what number of mental reframe or mental thoughts that we need to have. I don't know what number we're at. But one of the big things that I would say is very helpful in being prepared is being open to the direction that your project may take you. So back to using the podcast as an example, I think I started the podcast first before I even had a Guidance with Gab Instagram. I didn't know it was going to take that turn. I also didn't know that when I started the podcast and started yoga, that then I was going to be introduced to Reiki. But I was open to it. So I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me jump into this field as well. Let me learn about this. Let me explore. And then once I jumped into that field, I then got called to do life coaching. I didn't know that that's where I was going to go when I started one podcast. All of these other things opened up. And if I was only set on podcast, tunnel vision, only podcast, then I may not have been open to experiencing all of these other forms of life that then gave me deeper insight that I can share on the podcast. So, regarding your project, I would just say before beginning again to be open in whatever direction it goes to. Of course, you want to have like that clear vision of where you want to be, and that's all well and good, but also be open to where it can take you, because maybe where it takes you is better than where you expect it to be. You don't want to sell yourself short or cut something that can expand and grow into something even more amazing and beautiful than you can even imagine. So before starting your project, add that to your mental framework of, okay, I am open to wherever this journey takes me. Because if you do have that clear calling and that intuitive pull towards this project, then there's a reason behind it. And it may be because you are supposed to start the project and end there, or you start the project opens up into something else, you meet someone, you form new connections, whatever it is, it might take you there. And that might be the reason for your calling. We don't really know how the universe works. We don't know the bigger path right now. We only know our idea of the path. So just give your trust to this calling and know that it will take you wherever you're meant to be. This one is less of a mental framework to take with you before starting a project, but it's having an open communication with the people around you. So when you start a new project, there is, I don't know about for you, but for me, there was almost more fear regarding the people around me versus the strangers that might see my content. And I think that's because there's this, I don't know, idea of what the people around us see us as and the identity they connect us with. And then we start a new project that may feel a little weird for them. So then it feels weird for us. I don't know. That was just my experience. So the people closest to you are going to be connected to this in some way or another. And for me, what I think is very helpful is to have clear communication on what you expect from them in regard to this. And I'm not saying like they need to help you on all of these things, but if you are someone who does not want advice in regard to your project because of whatever reason, then I think you need to make that very clear from the beginning. People will always give unsolicited advice, and that's just the truth of it. People will tell you things that you don't want to hear, nor did you ask for. So before you begin, and it may be a very sensitive subject for you, starting a new project already with fear, maybe a little apprehensive, not sure how you're going to make it work, and then having people give unsolicited critical advice is not always what we need. So I would address that with the people around you. Maybe in regard to some pieces of the project you want advice and other pieces you just want support. That's okay. They should also be okay with that. So get clear within yourself first, and then you'll be able to convey that better to the people around you, and then hopefully they respect it. We hope so. Fingers crossed. People always got to be working on the boundaries, right? And then there's also a piece to that of if you are looking for support, just let them know maybe how they can support you. If it's following your page, if it's helping at home, if you have a partner and you need a little more help with cooking because you're going to pour more time into your writing or your painting, just let everyone know that is in your inner circle how they can support you, because you don't have to only rely on you. And within having your own community, you can also maybe find a little bit of comfort and belonging and maybe even peace from finding other people that are more aligned in your community of the project you're beginning. You can't always expect the people in your life to just form around you. When I started the yoga experience and journey, I definitely was not expecting my friends to just hop on because I was going. I knew that I was open and needed to maybe make other friends in the community that understood my experiences in that field. You can't always expect the people around you to just kind of like know the complaints and give you advice that's more aligned. Like, you might need to find some new people that can help you out in regard to your project. And that could be really helpful. And again, maybe that's one of the reasons that you are jumping into this on the bigger soul path. Maybe you're meant to find some people of your soul tribe that are going to help carry you through it, and you're going to help them, and it's going to be magic. A cool thing that I definitely recommend doing before starting a project, or even in the very beginning stages, is keeping a journal of where you're at. It is so beautiful to be able to look back and see where you started, where you were, how you felt about it, and then look back years later and just relive those feelings. See how far you've come, notice what's changed. It's just such a beautiful thing to keep record of, especially as it does blossom, which I know it will for you. It's something that you're going to want to have. So that's like a little side piece tip that I absolutely love. You can also then use that journal when you're a few months down the line and you might not be where you want to be, but then you read it and you remember, okay, I was so excited. This was my intention. I don't want to let myself down. I want to keep pouring myself into it. Just use that journal to kind of help you out and connect with the different phases of who you are and who you were through the process. I feel like we're at tip like number 9 or something at this point. This is why I do podcast stuff and I don't do math. Don't feel like you need to prove literally anything to anyone. Even if this project that you start doesn't end up aligning with you, it doesn't fit anymore, it actually was a calling that you went into and then realized maybe this wasn't right, I don't like it, and I don't want to do it anymore. Don't feel obligated to stay in this project because you feel the need to prove it to other people. Don't feel like there's no way out because other people know about your project and they might have expectations of you, or you're scared of the judgments. Don't even put that pressure on you. This entire project that we're talking about here started because you had an intuitive calling. And if that intuitive calling then leads you out of it, then you also need to listen to that. Don't be afraid to come out of it, even if it's for a short break, because of the judgments you think other people may put on you. Because again, that's their judgment, not yours. You don't need to live with their projections. It can be really hard when we include other people and we get excited and we start talking about it, because then people have expectations for us. And it can feel a little like a lot of pressure put on us to then achieve or, come out a certain way just based off of their ideas that they have for us. So I just don't want you to, stick it out if it's not meant for you simply because of the judgment. If you are pulled out of it emotionally, intuitively, then okay, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. And that kind of leads me into almost the last one, I think, which is you probably are going to want to quit at some point or another. Maybe, I don't know how you are, but you might have that like, oh, maybe this is getting a little too much, a little too hard. I'm not seeing the results of what I thought I wanted to see. Give it time. Whatever project this is for you, if it is worth it, it is going to take time, effort, energy, and you might not see it all play out for a while. And you can refer to one of my other podcasts, which I talk about motivation regarding when you want to keep doing something, but you're not receiving the energy back from it. That can be really hard. So you can refer to that if you ever get to that point, which I hope you don't. I hope that you receive all the blessings from whatever project you begin, even if it's self-satisfaction, self-encouragement, self-confidence, value, whatever it is. I hope you receive all that you're meant to in regard to this project. But Don't forget that good things do take time, and we often underestimate how long things are going to take. If we use painting for an example, you might estimate that, oh, I really want to make, I don't know, like a mural, and you think it's going to take you a week. If it's not done in a week, don't beat yourself up. Maybe you just completely underestimated this new project for you, and it's actually going to take 2 months. That's okay. Like, it's fine because it's a new thing for you that you are trying out. Don't beat yourself up. Don't lose hope. Don't get discouraged. Again, everything that is worth creating takes time, and sometimes it isn't on our timeline anyway. It is on the bigger path's timeline, and we just need to trust all of that. So to pretty much wrap this up, don't forget your reason why, your intention to communicate with the people around you. Be honest with yourself, be honest with others. Keep a journal with you so you can look back with this beautiful record of how everything is played out from day one until now. Know that you're not going to be perfect right away, and you're going to have chaos and confusion, but you will find your way if it is truly meant for you, which I know it is. And regardless of whether you are a walk in the shallow end first or dive right in, know that you will be caught by the waves. The ocean, the pool, the body of water that we are going into is there for a reason. And I know that whatever project is living within you that's creative and expansive and you feel excited about, it doesn't deserve to be knocked down simply because of fear. You are stronger than your fear. You are bigger than that. This project is bigger than a piece of fear that I know you can overcome. If you ever want to talk about anything regarding this, I would love to. It is a scary world, starting something new, putting yourself out there, and I get it. I'm literally living it. So I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to be a friend to my listeners, and I hope that you really took something away from this message. I would love to hear whatever your project is and how you start it. I would love to be a part of, that little journey for you. And I'm so thankful that I have this space to come on and chat with you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. If this resonates with you, I would so much appreciate a little share with a friend, a family member, social media, whatever it is, because this is my project right here. So thank you so much. I'm so very thankful. Obviously, I've said that like 50 times. Have a good day, guys. Start your project.